Part 120. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 1191. In November, after the entire living area was completed, Zhang Chen also moved Jiaoxi's Xiaomei wedding dress to the Xiaosha factory. Although there were still 2 signs of half-an-acre field and Xiaomei wedding dress hanging on the gate, in fact, the 2 factories have been merged together, thus saving a lot of logistics and office personnel. Zhao Zhigang serves as the general manager of Zhejiang Banmuishan Clothing Co., Limited, and Zhao Zhailong serves as the deputy general manager, and is also the general manager of Zhejiang Xiaomei Wedding Dress Co., Limited. There is still a big difference between clothing and wedding dresses, so they still make certain changes from the inside. Compartmentalize. After the merger of the 2 factories, there are more than 2,600 people. Whether in terms of the scale of the factory or the number of workers, it ranks among the top in the entire domestic garment industry. Zhang Chen established Zhejiang Xiaomei Group upstairs in the dynamic zone, which includes Zhejiang Banmuishan Clothing Co., Limited, Zhejiang Xiaomei Wedding Dress Co., Limited, Zhejiang Xiaomei Import and Export Co., Limited, Zhejiang Dynamic Zone Sports and Leisure Products Market, and Shanghai Songjiang Xiaomei Logistics Industrial Park and Banmuishan Clothing Stores in Hangzhou, Shanghai, and Beijing, as well as the Lakeside Oil Painting Gallery. After Kiasi's factory was relocated, the entire factory area became vacant. Zhang Chen originally wanted to rent it out, but Lu Ligan received news from the Municipal Planning Bureau that the renovation of Kiasi's area might be advanced because the Hangzhou city government, the state council, has agreed in principle to the report requesting that Xiaoshan and Yuhang, 2 county-level cities, be removed from counties and transformed into districts. Once officially approved, the road in front of Zhang Chen and his family will be the main thoroughfare connecting Linping Town, the original seat of Yuhang City Hall, and the main urban area of Hangzhou. Kiasi Town is also between Linping Town and the main city of Hangzhou. In the middle of the city, road expansion and city appearance renovation are about to be carried out. In this case, Zhang Chen and his factory, as well as the Huari refrigerator next to it, will need to be completely demolished. In this case, Zhang Chen felt that there was no need to rent it out anymore, so he simply left it empty and sent only 2 security guards to guard the reception room to prevent a large number of beggars from entering. There are also those who are always around, riding tricycles to collect rags. They say they are collecting rags, but if you are not careful, they will even tear down the doors and windows of your house. If you catch them, they will plausibly tell you, then it was picked up. Looking at the brand new factory building in the Kiasi factory, I thought it was a pity that it was demolished like this, but there was no way. It wasn't that the plan couldn't keep up with the changes, but that the plan simply couldn't keep up with the leaders' ideas. With the slogans of running the city and living in Hangzhou, the development of real estate has almost become the top priority of the entire Hangzhou, including the removal of counties and district changes in Xiaoshan and Yuhang. The driving force is also to increase the number of land resources in Hangzhou. In this context, it is not surprising that all other industries must give way to running the city and living in Hangzhou. And since it is a business, it is ever-changing. It is not surprising. Who will run according to the plan instead of adapting to changes? At the end of this year, with the sound of gongs that Xiaoshan and Yuhang districts would be merged into Hangzhou, another major event happened in advance, that is, on December 28, 2000, Hangzhou Xiaoshan International Airport first voyage. At 9:30 p.m. on December 29, 2000, Hangzhou Jianqiao Airport officially ended its flights and transferred airports. It also ended its history of mixed military and civilian use and returned to a military airport. At midnight on the 30th, Hangzhou Xiaoshan International Airport officially opened to the outside world. With the opening of Xiaoshan International Airport, Hangzhou has become more closely connected with the world. The happiest thing is Sukioxin. Now when going abroad, you don't have to go to Shanghai to take a flight. Many flights can depart directly from Hangzhou. At the same time, there is no need to go to Pudong Airport to pick up and drop off all customers. There are many, just go to Xiaoshan Airport to pick up and drop off. What Zhang Chen is most concerned about is that he discovered that there is now a direct flight from Hangzhou to Haikan, and there is no need to transfer to Guangzhou. Although he no longer has the desire to go to Haikan, he can go to Sanya, and half the time it's been more than a month since the Spring Festival. Xiao Zhao is still worried about where to go during the Spring Festival this year. Yes, Zhang Chen immediately decided to take the whole family to Sanya for the Spring Festival this year. He immediately told Xiao Zhao about his decision. He said, I checked and found that there are direct flights from Chongqing to Sanya. When the time comes, let Xiaosha take his parents to Sanya directly from Chongqing and we will meet in Sanya. Xiao Zhao said okay, then I will book a hotel. Zhang Chen said yes. Lu Ligan really wanted Tan Shahen to go to Sanya with him. Tan Shahen said, no, I have promised Lao Tan to take Xiongnan back to Yongcheng for the new year this year. When he mentioned Lao Tan, Lu Ligan immediately shut up. After a while, he said to Zhang Chen, then you can take in this lonely old man like me. Zhang Chen scolded, go away, stay at home and celebrate the new year with Lao Lu and the others. Why are you running around? If you really want to run away, you can come to Sanya with Tan Shahen Xiongnan after the Spring Festival. We will wait for you in Sanya. Lu Ligan hadn't said anything yet, but Tan Shahen said, this is okay. We haven't been to Hainan yet. It was decided that they would fly to Sanya on the third day of the new year. Every time when Zhang Chen went to the factory, he would walk around on the roof of the factory. When he walked around here, he felt at ease and felt that everything could finally be stabilized. Zhang Chen liked this. There is a sense of stability, but looking back, I wonder why I still feel drifting in the city all these years. First he went to Sijiking to open a wholesale store, then he set up a factory in Sanbeo and opened a specialty store on Yan'an Road. Not long after the Yan'an Road specialty store opened, he merged with Kuning Garment Factory. There was no quiet time in Sanbeo factory. They were all making things, being chased by orders, and then moved the factory. Kuning Garment Factory moved to Sanbeo. At the same time, they moved again, from Sanbeo to Splendid Home. Whether it's a factory move or a house move, it may seem like a matter of a few days, but in fact, every time you move, you shed a layer of skin and work hard. Then there was the construction of a dynamic zone, a lakeside oil painting museum, and the purchase of Chiao Si's factory. After Chiao Si bought the factory, he continued to expand production and keep building. This is not only the case in Hangzhou, but also in Shanghai. How many changes has it experienced? Zhang Chen felt that he had never stopped in the past few years, but in the midst of such constant changes, the company had more people and expanded in size, so much that he felt a little powerless. Then, the three forts were demolished again, and Xiaosha was built again. Today, it has finally stabilized. Zhang Chen thought to himself, there shouldn't be any big changes, right? Although Chiao Si still wanted to demolish it, he was already prepared. For the first time, he was ready for them to demolish it instead of being driven away. Once you're ready, you won't have that feeling of panic or irritability. Zhang Chen took a deep breath and looked at the Xiaosha development zone in front of him. The sky in early January was getting dark quickly. He saw the lights on the roads in the development zone lighting up one by one. The neat roads divided the entire open area into squares one by one. The street lights and lawn lights in each factory area are on. The companies in the development zone occupy a large area. There are large lawns in the factory. In comparison, Zhang Chen's factory has a very high land utilization rate. Zhang Chen looked at Route 1 in front of him. From here, he could see the light box of Huihuan local food restaurant was on and people were coming in and out. He wanted to eat tofu stew and large intestine stew, and looked at his watch. It was not yet 6 o'clock, so Zhang Chen decided to go later. He remembered that although he went to Hui Huan's place many times, he never said anything. Everyone who went with him thought he didn't know Hui Huan. No one knows that Zhang Chen helped open this store. Zhang Chen himself felt strange. He and Hui Huan had nothing to do with each other. He just helped her once. But why? He seemed to have done something shameful. He didn't tell Xiao Zhao or Lu Ligan. He said that the matter between him and Hui Huan was a secret between the two of them. They can hardly even talk on the phone. Hui Huan seemed to be very cooperative and kept the secret with him. She never told anyone that she knew Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen could tell that every time Xiao Zhao went there, Hui Huan was particularly careful. Although she had always he looked at Xiao Zhao quietly, but tried hard to avoid talking to her and further contact. Zhang Chen shook his head and couldn't help laughing. Zhang Chen wanted to have a good chat with Hui Huan today and ask her how she was doing recently. He decided to go later, when there were no customers in her shop. Zhang Chen returned downstairs, walked into his office, turned on the computer, and then opened MSN. Zhang Chen saw Zheng Huiyang online and remembered that he had not contacted Zheng Huiyang for a long time. Zhang Chen typed, "How are you now?" Zheng Huiyang immediately posted a smiley face and wrote, "I'm very busy, I'm almost nervous." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, your company and teacher Ma are very famous now." Zheng Huiyang burst out laughing, and then said, "It's all clouds." Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh. It could be seen that Zheng Huiyang was in a high mood. "Mr. Zhang, I heard that you have moved the factory." "The new factory is very big," Zheng Huiyang asked. Zhang Chen is right. "When Lao Wan comes back, we will go to the factory to play together." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, welcome." Zheng Huiyang added, "I don't know if those guys in the factory recognize me." Zhang Chen replied, "No one dares to forget." "Yes, I'll kill them if they dare to forget themselves," Zheng Huiyang said. Zhang Chen added the text with a smile on his face, domineering. "That's right, my arms are too busy now," Zheng Huiyang said. Zhang Chen laughed and said, "You can continue to work." Zheng Huiyang sent out a string of smiling faces again. Zhang Chen smiled slightly. He felt that Zheng Huiyang's personality seemed to be much more cheerful than before. He didn't know if she was deceived by teacher Ma. Now, they are very much like going to Jinggang to make revolution. Revolutionary people will maintain the spirit of revolutionary optimism no matter how tired, miserable, or difficult it is. That's fine. Thank you to Crush Killer VIP and Doll Tin Soldier for your rewards. Thank you Tiger and Xiaohu for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1192. Zhang Chen sat in the office until 8:30. At this time, everyone who had dinner should have left. It was still early for supper, and it was the least crowded time in all restaurants. Zhang Chen walked out of his office, went downstairs, and walked to Hui Huan local food restaurant without driving. In Hangzhou in January, the wind was biting, and the door of Hui Huan local food restaurant was closed. Zhang Chen saw through the glass that there was a table of customers inside, but it was already at the end, and everyone put down their chopsticks. The wine glass was empty, but I just didn't want to get into the cold outside too quickly and sit and chat. In the restaurant outside, he saw Aqiao with her back to the door, leaning on the counter and talking. Hui Huan was sitting inside the counter, and only the top of her head could be seen from here. Zhang Chen walked over and was about to open the door when he saw Hui Huan standing up from the counter and smiling at him. Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment and continued to walk in. Aqiao was also there, dumbfounded. She turned around and Zhang Chen looked at Hui Huan again and asked, "Did you know that brother Zhang is here?" Hui Huan nodded, and Aqiao also said to Zhang Chen, "Yes, I felt brother Zhang coming." Zhang Chen smiled and said, It can't be so magical. He walked closer and looked into the counter to see if there was a mirror or something. Huihuan saw herself outside the glass door from inside. Huihuan seemed to know what he was looking at, and smiled. Look, look, is there nothing? Zhang Chen nodded. There was indeed nothing in it. He was not convinced and said, then if you have the ability, guess what I want to eat? Tofu stew, large intestine stew, meatballs, and vegetables, right? Huihuan asked. Zhang Chen was surprised. Although he didn't expect the meatballs and vegetables stir-fried, it was already amazing that he could guess 2 out of 3. Huihuan giggled, there are some good things today, I guarantee you will like them. What? Zhang Chen asked. Yuzeo, I just boiled lard today. How about I fry it with chili for you? Okay, my mouth is watering, Zhang Chen said quickly. Huihuan walked into the kitchen at the back, and Zhang Chen followed. Huihuan looked back and said with a smile, follower, what are you doing here? No, Zhang Chen asked. Okay, 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 Huihuan pursed her lips and smiled. Zhang Chen asked, how are you doing lately? Okay, Huihuan nodded vigorously. Huihuan started to get busy. Zhang Chen stood there and looked at Huihuan. Huihuan smiled at him, brother Zhang, go sit outside. The oil smoke here is too heavy. I don't feel it, Zhang Chen said. Tofu pot and large intestine pot are actually semi-finished products that have been prepared and placed on the shelf. When customers order, they can be simmered for a while. Huihuan sat the 2 casseroles on the gas stove, turned on the gas switch with pop, pop, turned around and asked Zhang Chen, would it be spicier? Zhang Chen said yes, make it spicy. It will kill you. Huihuan said as she added dried chili peppers and turned around to cut the meatballs and vegetables. Zhang Chen saw that the color of the green vegetables was dark green, and knew that they were grown in the open air and had been beaten by frost. Such green vegetables had a very thick texture and a slight sweetness. By the way, if he saw it, he would really meeting point. In this way, Huihuan hit all 3, no, 4. Fried green pepper with oil residue is also her favorite. How is business now? Zhang Chen asked. Okay, Huihuan said and laughed, I didn't expect that so many people would like to eat such a local dish. No matter where we are, people's mouth and stomach are still the same. Otherwise, if you think about it, why are there so many Chinatowns and Chinese restaurants abroad? Zhang Chen said. Huihuan nodded, okay, you are right. Huihuan finished cutting the green vegetables and started to cut the peppers and green garlic, which were used for frying the oil residue. After all the preparations were done, Huihuan stood there and told Zhang Chen to wait a few minutes to fry and serve it with the casserole. Zhang Chen agreed. The two stood there, looked at each other, and couldn't help laughing. Huihuan said, your factory is really big. Have you ever been in? Zhang Chen asked. You can see it when you stand in front of my store. However, I have also gone in. Many people in your factory are my old customers and my fellow villagers. They took me in, Huihuan said, otherwise, you won't be allowed in at the door, right? You can tell them that you are here to see me, Zhang Chen said. Is it okay? Huihuan asked. Okay, Zhang Chen said, you can say that I ate at your place and ran away without paying. Huihuan laughed and said yes, I will tell the security guard this way next time. The two of them wanted to say something else, but Achiao shouted from outside, Lady boss, pay the bill. Huihuan went out and came back after buying the order. She said to Zhang Chen, you go sit outside, I'll cook. Zhang Chen said, I'm watching you cook. Huihuan chuckled, I want to learn from it secretly. Zhang Chen is right. Huihuan turned on the stove and fried the meatballs and green vegetables first, then the green pepper residue. After frying, she held 2 plates of vegetables in her hands and asked Zhang Chen, can you go now? Zhang Chen said yes. When the two of them got outside, Huihuan and Achiao said, "The casserole is ready, please help me bring it out." There are no customers in the store now, and the last table just paid and left. Huihuan placed the dishes on the table in front of the counter and asked Zhang Chen whether he wanted to add rice and wine to the heat. Zhang Chen said yes. Huihuan took 2 bottles of rice wine from the counter and went into the kitchen. Achiao took out the 2 pots one by one, brought Zhang Chen bowls, chopsticks, and bone plates, and told Zhang Chen, "Brother Zhang, take advantage of the opportunity. Eat hot. After that, take away the lids of the 2 casseroles." Huihuan took out the wine bottle, took a glass from the counter, and filled Zhang Chen's glass with wine. Zhang Chen said, "You want to drink too?" Huihuan shook her head and said, since she had to go to work later and she smelled bad, Zhang Chen wouldn't force it. Achiao and Huihuan said, "Should I go to the supermarket?" Huihuan nodded and said, "Go ahead and bring back 2 packets of salt." Achiao said yes and walked out. There were only 2 people in the whole store, Zhang Chen and Huihuan. Huihuan walked to the counter, took her cup, filled it with water, walked over and sat across from Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen ate so fast that he almost choked. Huihuan scolded, "Eat slowly, no one will compete with you." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "You can't wait any longer, it's so delicious." "Have you regressed?" Huihuan asked. Zhang Chen said, "No, I feel there is progress." Huihuan breathed a sigh of relief and said, "I'm still worried. I feel a little sluggish due to being busy every day, and whether the cooking of this dish will deteriorate." "How is that possible?" Zhang Chen said, "Practice makes perfect. You can probably do it with your eyes closed now, right?" Huihuan smiled and said, "That's right." The tofu stew and large intestine stew were spicy and hot, coupled with the hot wine with shredded ginger. After a while, Zhang Chen's whole body became hot, and beads of sweat broke out on his forehead and trickled down his cheeks. Huihuan took out the tissue and looked up at the door behind Zhang Chen. She leaned over and wiped the sweat from Zhang Chen's face. Zhang Chen's head was tilted and motionless. When she finished wiping, she said thank you. He continued to eat. After a while, sweat came out again, and Huihuan continued to wipe him. "Brother Zhang, let me ask you something," Huihuan said. "You say." "In the store next door, he told me that he would go home for the spring festival this year and not plan to come back again. He asked me if I wanted to transfer his store," Huihuan said. "Are you too busy to come here now?" Zhang Chen asked. Huihuan shook her head and said, "When there are the most people eating, it is too busy. Many people have no choice but to leave because there are no seats. Then you turn around." "Does the kitchen still need to be enlarged?" Zhang Chen asked. "The kitchen is no longer in use." "Then his store will be converted into a shop," Zhang Chen said. "His original store door will be sealed, and it will be made into a glass window just like the one there. Open a door where you enter, like this. The 3 rooms are connected together, and you can enter through one door." Huihuan nodded and said, "That's good. I just can't think of how to transfer it. I'll draw you a drawing later. If you want to renovate it, just use the guy who originally decorated it." "He did a good job," Zhang Chen said. Huihuan said yes. "In the innermost part of his room, you can consider getting a private room. After all, there are still people who have such needs. Moreover, you used to have small tables, but there is a big table, which is more flexible," Zhang Chen said. Huihuan nodded. "How much is the transfer fee and rent?" Zhang Chen asked. "The transfer fee is 1,550, and the rent is supposed to be until the end of January. There are still a few days left." He said, "Forget it. I can just go and sign a 1-year contract with the village." Zhang Chen nodded, "Then I'll call you tomorrow." No, Huihuan was a little anxious. "I have money, brother Zhang. Let me tell you, it's not about money. I just want to hear your opinion." If you say you can transfer it, I will be bolder. The rent I have to pay the transfer fee myself. Do you still need to decorate? Yes, yes, I have the money myself, Huihuan said. Zhang Chen looked at Huihuan and asked, are you ready to add another store? Okay, just call a waiter and that's it, Huihuan said. Zhang Chen said, don't work too hard. Huihuan smiled and said, it doesn't feel hard at all like this now. It's still the same as before in Sanbeo. I had nothing to do all day and just sat there stupidly. That's why it was so hard. At that time, I told you, Brother Zhang, was in the store, there was nothing to do in the room, so when I got back to the room, I still couldn't fall asleep, and now, haha, I'm already asleep before my head even touches the pillow. What time do you go to bed now? Zhang Chen asked. Go back here and wash up. It's almost 4 o'clock. When get up? I have to get up at 8 o'clock to buy groceries. You only sleep 4 hours a day. No, you can still take a nap for an hour in the afternoon. Also, for example, at this time, when there are no guests, you can lie down in it for a while. It's okay. I feel like I wake up and have had enough sleep every day. Huihuan spoke anxiously. Zhang Chen stared at her and said nothing more. Huihuan quickly picked up the wine pot and said to Zhang Chen, the wine is cold, Brother Zhang, let me heat it up for you. Huihuan took the jug and went to the back, turned on the gas stove, put the jug on it, and looked at it. Huihuan's eyes suddenly became wet. She wiped them with her hands and cursed with a smile. Die. Thank you to Crush Killer VIP for ranking third from top to bottom and for the reward of 2 fishes one above the other. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1193. Zhang Chen was sitting in the office. Xiao Zhao came in with someone. Zhang Chen looked up and quickly stood up and shouted. Xiang Qin, long time no see. The person who came in with Xiao Zhao was Xiang Qin, the owner of their Ban Mu Tian clothing store in Wuhu. Xiang Qin said with a smile, yes, I am getting lazy as I continue to do this business. Everything is shipped directly from the company. I haven't been to Hangzhou for a long time. Then what's the matter with coming here this time? Zhang Chen asked, looking at Xiao Zhao at the same time. Xiao Zhao was smiling slightly, but there was something weird about that smile. I'm here specifically to see you and Xiao Zhao, Mr. Zhang, Xiang Qin said. Thanks, thanks. At the same time, I also want to tell you that after the new year, our place will be demolished and the old city will be renovated, Xiang Qin said. Then where are you going to move to? Zhang Chen asked. Oh, sit down and talk. Xiao Zhao and Xiang Qin sat down. Xiang Qin shook his head and said to Zhang Chen. I don't plan to make clothes anymore. During this period, I also looked for several places, but none of them were suitable. We have a new Zhongshan Road pedestrian street in Wuhu, and many clothes sellers have moved there. I originally wanted to move there, but when I asked about it, I found out that the rent was too high, and the people who worked there couldn't make any money at all, and they were all working for the landlord. Xiang Qin paused and continued, I happened to have a classmate whose husband bought a piece of land and said he wanted to build a house. They didn't have enough money, so they came to me and asked me to partner with them. I asked about it, saying that there is still money to be made from building houses now, so I want to partner with them. They've all started doing real estate, which is really good, Zhang Chen said with a smile. Xiang Qin also laughed, what kind of real estate? It's a small piece of land and can only build 2 houses. But if we want to build more, we don't have that much money. No matter how many houses there are, they are all real estate. After you have built 2 houses, you can build 4 more, Zhang Chen said. All real estate developers have not grown up since childhood. Thank you, Mr. Zhang. Xiang Qin took Xiao Zhao's hand and said, actually, for so many years, I have only made clothes. Alas, how can I do anything else? Real estate. I don't know anything about it, so I just follow it. But now this clothes is becoming more and more popular the harder it gets. By the way, Xiang Qin, since you don't do it anymore, I will refund you the deposit and franchise fee, Zhang Chen said. Xiang Qin was stunned for a moment and asked, can I still return that one? According to the agreement, can't it only be transferred to other people? You, Xiang Qin, are different, Zhang Chen said. Others who terminate the agreement on their own cannot refund the deposit and franchise fee, but you, Xiang Qin, are our first customer, so I will refund it to you. Xiao Zhao also nodded towards Xiang Qin. Xiang Qin lowered her head and said, thank you, Mr. Zhang, thank you, Xiao Zhao. It's better not to give it up. Just follow the agreement. I'll find a way to find a new one myself. If I can't find it, forget it. I've made a lot of money from making your clothes in the past few years. We have money, otherwise there would be no money to cooperate with others. I came here today not to talk about these things with you. I just feel very reluctant to let you go, so I feel that I must come and see you. Xiang Qin's eyes turned red as he spoke, and so did Xiao Zhao's. Zhang Chen shook his head, feeling very sad. This piano was not only mentioned by Zhang Chen. She was also their first wholesale customer in their first specialty store. Zhang Chen felt so uneasy when he recalled the first batch of plaid cotton and linen shirts he made. He himself doesn't know whether he can continue on the road he designed to produce his own products and whether he has a future. Zhang Chen remembered that Xiang Qin was the first to buy his clothes, which made him feel that there were really people who wanted the clothes he designed. Xiang Qin then recommended Wang Lichhen from Ma'anshan. From that day on, the 2 earliest wholesale customers have also become their oldest customers and their most staunchly supportive customers. Over the years, other customers have been clamoring to increase the exchange rate. Only He Dongmei, Xiang Qin, and Wang Lichhen have never made such a request. Moreover, they will definitely cooperate 100% with whatever the company asks them to do. Such customers, it's really cultivated. Zhang Chen remembered that when he was still at Sijiking, whether it was him or Xiao Zhao, when he or Xiao Zhao walked into the stall, the other party would just say that Xiang Qin and the others had been here, and the other party would feel happy, knowing that they had made a big deal today. When Zhang Chen and Lao Meng came up with the idea of chain sales, Zhang Chen felt uneasy again, not knowing whether customers would accept it. It was Xiang Qin again who was the first to sign an agency agreement with them and became their own direct store, while He Dongmei was the first general agent. At that time, Zhang Chen didn't even have a printed contract, it was written by hand. Zhang Chen remembered that he even made a special trip to Wuhu to help her design a store decoration plan. Her store is still fresh in Zhang Chen's memory. How could Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao not be sad if they could no longer cooperate with such a customer? Xiao Zhao, I will come to Hangzhou again in the future and I will come to buy clothes. Do you want to give me a discount? Xiang Qin said. Xiao Zhao nodded. Xiao Zhao, I really like our company's clothes, and I also like you. Xiang Qin finally couldn't control it, and cried while holding Xiao Zhao. Xiang Qin, I can't bear to let you go. I remember that at that time, I was still pregnant. When you and Wang Lichhen came, you would not let me move. You got the goods by yourself, packed them by yourself, and settled the accounts by yourself. Even if you didn't refuse after the bags were packed, come on, you still have to help me with my business there, and you didn't run away in a hurry until the car was about to leave. Xiao Zhao said and started to cry. 2 women were hugging each other and crying on the sofa. Zhang Chen looked at them and couldn't bear it anymore. He stood up, turned around and walked into the bathroom. Zhang Chen washed his face in the bathroom. When he walked out, he saw Xiang Qin holding a tissue and wiping Xiao Zhao's tears, and Xiao Zhao holding a tissue and wiping Xiang Qin's tears. Xiang Qin and Xiao Zhao said, "You must go to Wuhu to play. I will be unhappy if you don't go." Xiao Zhao nodded and said, "I will definitely go." Xiang Qin laughed and said, "Let's go and accompany me to our store. I heard that it is much bigger now than before. I have never been there since." Xiao Zhao nodded and said yes, and the two of them stood up. Zhang Chen said, "Xiang Qin, you take your time and stroll around, and we'll have lunch together." "It's too late for lunch." Xiang Qin quickly waved his hand, "I'd better take the original car from Sijiking. I have to leave at around 12 o'clock. If you don't have time, just stay one night and leave tomorrow." Zhang Chen said. "I still have something to do at home, so I must go back today," Xiang Qin said. "Then after dinner, I'll ask the driver to take you back," Zhang Chen said. Before Xiang Qin could say anything, Xiao Zhao said, "That's it, if you don't eat, I will be unhappy." The two went out holding hands. More than a week later, Xiang Qin called Zhang Chen and told him that she had found her next store. The store was on their Zhongshan Road pedestrian street in Wuhu. The store was very big. She originally wanted to be meters Benwei. I persuaded her and thought it would be appropriate to make our costumes. "Mr. Zhang, I won't accompany her here. I'll let her go directly to you. Can you give her some confidence? By the way, her name is Li Gaiman, Musa Li, rich and noble, sensitive, haha, if it sounds like a man's name, I'll say yes." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, just ask her to come to me." "Well, Mr. Zhang, remember that you must come to Wuhu." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, I will definitely go." "When will your construction site start? Give me a call and I will send a flower basket." "Okay, Mr. Zhang, this is great, I will tell you when the time comes." 2 days after Xiang Qin and Zhang Chen finished talking on the phone, Li Gaiman arrived in Hangzhou. She drove here by herself. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao received her. Xiao Zhao said that he would take her to the specialty store on Yan'an Road. Li Gaiman agreed and would go right away. After thinking about it, she told Zhang Chen, "Xiao Zhao, actually, I went to your store in Shanghai yesterday. Xiang Qin told me that you have a store on Huihai Road." I thought she was bragging, but then I went to see it. Sure enough, it is there. It is very beautiful. The specialty stores and clothing are very beautiful, otherwise I would not come today. If I want to order clothes, where should I go? Is it the most comprehensive store? Li Gaiman asked. If this is the case, then go to the distribution center in the factory, which has the most complete range, Xiao Zhao said. What about signing the agreement? Li Gaiman asked. Did Xiang Qin give you the original agreement? If she gave it to you, just change the name on that agreement, and we can stamp the changed place to confirm it, Zhang Chen said. I brought it. Li Gaiman asked Zhang Chen, can the boss lady stamp it? Zhang Chen smiled and said, of course. Then boss lady, if we change the agreement, we will go to Yan'an Road first, and then go to the factory to distribute the goods, okay? This is my first time here, boss lady, can you help me with my advice? Li Gaiman asked Xiao Zhao. Xiao Zhao said yes. The two of them went out, and in the afternoon, Xiao Zhao came back, walked in, sat on the sofa in Zhang Chen's office, and stared at Zhang Chen blankly without saying a word. Zhang Chen asked her what happened. Xiao Zhao shook her head and said it was nothing. Who is that, Li Gaiman? Zhang Chen asked. Let's go, Xiao Zhao said. Has the goods arrived? Come in. You had trouble with her? No, how could I have trouble with a customer? Xiao Zhao asked back. Then your expression is not right, Zhang Chen said. Xiao Zhao sighed and said, I feel very sad, my dear. Why? Do you know why Li Gaiman makes our clothes? Xiao Zhao asked. Didn't Xiang Qin transfer it to her? Zhang Chen was surprised. Yes, it's Xiang Qin, but it didn't turn. What do you mean? Zhang Chen didn't understand. That's right, this Li Gaiman turns out to be really planning to make meters Benwei. She has gone to the Wenzhou Renjia factory to see it. It's Xiang Qin. She must have been persuaded to make our clothes, Xiao Zhao said. Do you know how Xiang Qin persuaded her? Zhang Chen shook his head. She didn't ask for the franchise fee or deposit, it was like giving it to her for free, Xiao Zhao said. After Zhang Chen heard this, he suddenly felt a little uncomfortable. Thanks to the humor tribe for the tip. Thank you Lao Chentang for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1194. Zhang Chen and the others decided to go to Sanya for the Spring Festival. Lu Ligan and Tan Shahan went there in their third year of junior high school, but Meng Ping and Qian Fang asked to go with them. Zhang Chen remembered it and called Huo and told him that this year during the Spring Festival, everyone goes to Sanya to celebrate the Spring Festival, and you go too. I'm going to Sanya for the Spring Festival. I'm forced to raise you. That's great, instructor, the idiot shouted. Will eldest brother go to Sanya? Zhang Chen asked. My uncle, the second-rate guy hesitated and said, my uncle may not go. It's been such a long time, you idiot, everything should be over. In this way, you insist that you really want to go to Sanya. By the way, let Xiaojun tell eldest brother, let Xiaojun say that she and her son both want to go to Sanya. He has never seen the sea, and he really wants to go to the beach to celebrate the Spring Festival, and then Zhangzi and I will encourage him to go, Zhang Chen said to Huo. Okay, instructor, that's it? I'm forced to call my uncle over, the second-rate guy said. Xiao Zhao walked in and asked Zhang Chen, should we stay in a hotel in Yalongbei or Daidonghai? It seems to be very empty, no one around. Zhang Chen said that Yalongbei is too remote, too far from the city, and it is inconvenient to go out to eat at night food stalls. The seawater and beach there are good, so you can just go there and play there. It is better to live in Daidonghai. Then I'll book Jinling Resort. Xiao Zhao asked. Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment, and then told Xiao Zhao, don't book it yet, Meng Ping and Qian Fang are also going, and I want my eldest brother to go too. Everyone is going back to Hainan for the new year. I just called the second person. Telephone. It's great that so many people are going, Xiao Zhao exclaimed excitedly. Brother, I don't know if he wants to go yet, Zhang Chen said and stood up, I want to do his work. I'll go with you, Xiao Zhao said. The two people walked out and were about to go downstairs when they saw Lin Shuwen coming up with a big belly. Xiao Zhao quickly supported her and cursed, you are really good at running with this big belly. Lin Shuwen giggled, oh, Xiao Zhao, the baby and I will be bored if we stay at home. Brother, where are you going? There at the pole, Zhang Chen said. I'll go with you, Lin Shuwen said. Zhang Chen said yes. The three of them went downstairs and arrived at the parking lot. Zhang Chen had a bigger car, so they took his car there. They asked Lin Shuwen to sit in the back seat first, and then the two of them went to the front. Zhang Chen remembered it and asked Lin Shuwen, how did you get here? Well, I'll drive that car. Lin Shuwen pointed to the distance and said to Zhang Chen, Lao Tang and I switched cars, and I drove his jeep. Does old Tang know you are running around? Xiao Zhao asked. I know, Xiao Zhao, I didn't run around. We asked the doctor specifically, and the doctor told us that 5, 6, and 7 months after pregnancy are the most stable and safe times for pregnant women, so it can be done. Lin Shuwen said. Shameless, I'm pregnant, and still thinking wildly, Xiao Zhao scolded. Lin Shuwen giggled and said, that's what the doctor said, I'm not 6 months old yet. Zhang Chen looked at Xiao Zhao and smiled softly. Xiao Zhao blushed and knew why he was laughing. She stretched out her hand and punched him. She knew that Zhang Chen was laughing. When Xiao Zhao had such a big belly, they didn't. Be honest. Zhang Chen started the car, drove to Degzi Road, and turned into Kiyoshi Academy. Lu Ligan and Tan Shahen were in the office. When they saw Zhang Chen's car coming in, they both walked out of the office and stood at the gate on the other side of the pond. Lu Ligan saw Lin Shuwen getting out of the car and shouted, "Hey, the director has come to our academy to inspect the work. Welcome." Tan Shahen walked over from the bridge, and Xiao Zhao helped Lin Shuwen, one on the left and the other on the right. Lin Shuwen blushed and wanted to break away from them, shouting, "Thank you, Xiao Zhao, Zhen Zhen. I can go on my own. I'm not an old lady." Xiao Zhao and Tan Shahen ignored her and insisted on supporting her. Lin Shuwen had no choice but to be crossed over the bridge over the pond by the two of them. "Is Lao Tan here?" Zhang Chen asked Lu Ligan, and Lu Ligan said, "I'm going next door to you. I'll be back soon." "Why are you looking for him?" Zhang Chen told Lu Ligan that he wanted Lao Tan to go to Sanya together. Lu Ligan agreed that we would work together to convince him that we could not stop going to Hainan for the rest of our lives. "You, me, and Lao Mang, we are all people who have fallen through troubles in Hainan. We don't have to go back, so what?" Zhang Chen nodded and said, "Erhuo and I also told him that Erhuo was fine, and he made sense. What can't he figure out? Last time I went to Haikan with me, I detained all his old friends." Lu Ligan cursed, "It's a pity that he couldn't find any of them. He is still very disappointed. This time we went to Sanya. He must have performed the same drama again." Zhang Chen laughed, and after he finished laughing, he said to Lu Ligan, "No, don't underestimate the idiot. When this guy gets serious, he has a sense of responsibility better than anyone else. He has a family and children now, so he won't be so ridiculous." As Zhang Chen spoke, he told Lu Ligan the theory that the second-hand guy told him about whether it was a good deal or not when he went to Songjiang last time. "No way," Lu Ligan said, "so, dogs can stop eating shit. It's you who looks down on others." Tan Shahen scolded, "I think the idiot is pretty good. He is so patient when he is with children. Whenever we go out, it's not the idiot who takes the child with him in the end. You guys, I don't know where you went." "That's right," Xiao Zhao also said. Zhang Chen said, "I remember that there seemed to be a few women who went out with us men. We ran away. Where did these women go?" Lu Ligan laughed, and Tan Shahen and Xiao Zhao burst into laughter. Xiao Zhao said, "It's the children who refuse to follow us. They have to go to the second-hand shop." Me, brother, and me," Lin Shuwen said. Zhang Chen asked, "What are you?" "We are also going to Sanya," Lin Shuwen said. "No way, you are like this. Even if the plane seat is big enough, the seat belt is not long enough, right?" Lu Ligan shouted. "Who told you?" Lin Shuwen and Lu Ligan said, "On the plane, there are extended seat belts specially prepared for pregnant women and passengers with big belly. You just need to inform the airline in advance when buying the ticket." Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were also in a dilemma. It would be too inconvenient to take a pregnant woman on this long journey. Zhang Chen and Lin Shuwen said, "Awen, you better not go. At this time, you still have to pay attention to safety. But walking more like this is also good for the baby. Brother, you are an uncle. If you don't want to take us there, come and tell your nephew." Lin Shuwen said, pushing her belly towards Zhang Chen, and everyone laughed. Zhang Chen quickly avoided it and said with a smile, "Ask the boss. Xiao Zhao is the boss for this trip, she decides." Xiao Zhao glared at Zhang Chen. Lin Shuwen took Xiao Zhao's hand and shouted, "Thank you, Xiao Zhao." Xiao Zhao said, "Shuwen, old Tang wouldn't agree to this." No, I'll call him now." As Lin Shuwen spoke, she called Old Tang. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao both stared at her, hoping that Old Tang would object. Lin Shuwen looked at them and simply put the phone on speakerphone. "Honey, what's the matter?" Old Tang's voice came from the phone. Lin Shuwen told Lao Tang about going to Sanya. Lao Tang said, "Okay, let's go to Sanya. Sunshine, beach, blue sea, blue sky. It's great. Hangzhou is so cold. Go ahead, let's go to Sanya." Lu Ligan scolded, "This incompetent Old Tang." Lin Shuwen giggled and said to Old Tang, "Husband, we are disliked." "Who dislikes us?" Old Tang asked. He, they all dislike us and refuse to take us there." Lin Shuwen circled her fingers and said to the other end of the phone. "If they don't take us with them, we'll go by ourselves. They're not an airline, so they can't let us get on the plane." Old Tang said, "When we get to Sanya, we'll go find them again and watch me take care of them one by one." "Okay, hubby, you are awesome." Lin Shuwen smiled and hung up the phone. Zhang Chen and the others were dumbfounded at this moment. Old Tang was right. They could buy their own tickets and go there. How can you catch them when they get to Sanya? Rather than doing this, it would be safer to go together. Lin Shuwen looked at Xiao Zhao and said, "Thank you, Xiao Zhao, the doctor said it." "Okay, if you're okay with that, let's go together," Xiao Zhao said quickly. Lin Shuwen smiled and said, "I knew you were the best, Xiao Zhao." "Oh, so many people." Lao Tan returned to the company. In the corridor, he heard many people in Lu Ligan's office. He walked over curiously and saw Zhang Chen and the others were there. "Come on, Lao Tan, we have something to tell you," Lu Ligan called, and Lao Tan walked in. Tan Shahen said to Xiao Zhao and Lin Shuwen, "Let's go and sit in my office." Xiao Zhao said yes and the three of them walked out. Tan Shahen knew that it might be inconvenient for Lao Tan to say some things while they were around. After they left, Zhang Chen told Lao Tan about everyone going to Sanya to celebrate the new year. Sure enough, Lao Tan waved his hands when he heard it. He shouted, "No, no, no, why am I going to Sanya? You can go, it's better to go to Songjiang and spend time with Huo and the others." "But eldest brother, you guys are also going together." Xiaojun said that neither she nor her son had ever seen the sea and wanted to go, so I asked them to go together, Zhang Chen said. "Then I'll just live in Hangzhou alone." "Hangzhou is also very good," Lao Tan said. "Brother, why don't you go to Sanya?" Zhang Chen asked. "For no reason, what is there to do in Sanya? I, Lao Tan, am familiar with every stone in Sanya, and it is not attractive to me," Lao Tan said. "Old Tan, when the three of us are together, there's nothing we can't talk about." Lu Ligan looked at Lao Tan and continued. "I know why you, Old Tan, refuse to return to Hainan. You think you are too embarrassed to meet Jiangdong's elders, right? Yes, you, Old Tan, fell down in Hainan, but so did we. No matter me or Zhang Chen, neither of us is in a very embarrassed state. The only one who has left Hainan, let alone Lao Meng, is not you, Lao Tan. Once you fall, just get up. Just dust yourself off and keep moving forward. Now, none of us are worse than others. Are we embarrassed? Those who dare to laugh at us are ashamed. Besides, there are no people will laugh at us, right? Think about it, Lao Tan, who will laugh at you? Yes, brother, that time with Xiao Zhao, if you and Xiao Zheng hadn't sent us off, we wouldn't have been able to get out of the island." Zhang Chen said, "This thing is over, it's over. If we keep losing, we keep fighting," said the Pole. "That's right, we are all in full swing now, there is no shame in it. By the way, talking about Xiao Zheng, I want to tell you, Lao Tan. When we went back to Haikan last time, Xiao Zheng told me that they miss you too, and they blame you for leaving Hainan and being in such a difficult situation. I didn't tell them when I was here, thinking that you didn't regard them as brothers anymore, so when I invited them, they were embarrassed to come to Hangzhou, and they felt they had no face to see you. Lu Ligan looked at Lao Tan and said, "You, Lao Tan, don't miss them. Why don't you help them untie this knot? If you, the elder brother, don't untie it, the knot will be tied there forever." Lao Tan was silent. Thank you to Crush Killer VIP, Doll Tin Soldier, and Daily Flip Book for your rewards. Thank you Xiao Jace Han, Book Friends 2019018025224314, Elber King, Wooden Man, and Yuangzi for your monthly passes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1195. On January 22, the 28th day of the year, Zhang Chen and his group set out from Hangzhou Xiaoshan International Airport to Sanya Phoenix International Airport. According to time, they were the first group to arrive in Sanya, followed by Mengping and Qian Fang and the others, and finally Xiaoshu and Xiaozao's parents. Chu Tianlin heard that Zhang Chen and the others were going to Sanya, so she took her son with them and joined them. Her parents stayed in Hangzhou to celebrate the new year with Chu Tianjian's family. Boss Zhang Xiangbei was not happy about being separated from Xiangnan. He wanted to go back to Yongcheng with Xiangnan and go to Sanya with them on the third day of the lunar month. The second guy told him, "Follow me. When we get to Sanya, I will take you to the warship. How about playing and letting you touch the cannon?" Zhang Xiangbei became interested as soon as he heard this and shouted, "Really, Uncle Frog, can I really touch the cannon?" The second-rate guy said, "Of course it's true." Zhang Xiangbei still didn't believe it. He looked at Zhang Chen and Zhang Chen said to him, "Really, the hotel we stayed in was not far from the Navy's Yulin base. Not only could he do it, but so could Uncle Tan. Uncle Tan had been there before. Be an officer inside." As soon as this happened, Zhang Xiangbei became excited. Chu Tianlin's son was listening on the side. Hearing this, he couldn't help it anymore. He asked the second-rate guy, "Uncle, can I also go to the warship and touch the cannon?" The idiot shook his son in his arms and said, "Of course you can, even a little kid like us can do it." "Yeah," Chu Tianlin's son shouted excitedly. At around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they arrived at Sanya Phoenix International Airport. When they set off from Hangzhou, they were still wearing thick winter clothes. When they arrived in Sanya, people here were already wearing short-sleeved shorts and flip-flops. The first thing they did when they got off the plane was to go to the bathroom to change clothes and winter clothes. They took out the summer clothes they had prepared in advance from their carry-on bags and put them on. They held the winter clothes in their hands and then went to pick up their luggage. Luggage, put all the winter clothes in the suitcase, and then walked outside. As soon as he walked out of the exit, Lao Tan was stunned. He saw Xiao Zheng and 7 or 8 people standing at the exit. When they saw him, they gathered around him and called Big Brother. They used to be soldiers under Lao Tan, but now they are like Xiao Zheng. Went to the provincial military region, and 3 others are still at the Yulin base, but they are already military leaders, and several others have transferred to work in various local departments in Sanya. Old Tan looked at the second guy and knew it must be Xiao Zheng, who he called to inform him. The second guy chuckled. Each of them came up to hug Lao Tan. Xiao Zheng was the last one. When he saw him, he called him Big Brother and choked up. After shaking hands with Xiao Zheng, Zhang Chen's eyes lit up. He saw a person standing not far away, smiling at them. He still had his hair neatly parted. He was wearing a floral shirt on his upper body and a light gray lower body. The trousers are so ironed that they can be cut into thin linen trousers, and they have a pair of white leather shoes on their feet. Isn't this Lao Xie, or who is this? Zhang Chen took 2 steps and shouted, "Mr. Xie, why are you here? You are all here, how could I not come?" I am the only one left in Hainan, Lao Xie said. The Pole called me and informed you of your flight. When Zhang Chen and his Yan'an Road store opened, Lao Xie had been to Hangzhou. Both Chu Tianlin and Xiao Zhao had met him. No introduction was needed. Zhang Chen introduced his parents and Xiao Fang to Lao Xie. Lao Tan also came over and shook hands with Lao Xie. Over there, his brothers were already surrounding the second-hand family of three, and the second-hand son was passed around one by one in their hands. Xiao Zheng and the others drove two vans. Xiao Zheng and Zhang Chen said, "These two vans are for you to use while you are here." Zhang Chen quickly said thank you. Meng Ping and the others arrived in an hour, and Xiaoshu and Xiao's parents were 20 minutes behind them. Zhang Chen and Lao Tan said, "Either you go to the hotel first, and Mr. Xia and I can wait here. I'm afraid Awen won't be able to bear her big belly." Lao Tan agreed. Xiao Zheng handed the car keys to Zhang Chen, and they took a large group of people to settle down at Jinling Resort first. Zhang Chen and Lao Xie walked to the tea house nearby and sat down to drink tea. Zhang Chen asked Lao Xie, "How are you doing here now?" Lao Xie smiled and said, "It's not that good. When I came to Hainan, there were many opportunities here. Now there are no opportunities in Hainan. The opportunities are all in the mainland. People like us can't go back to the mainland if we want to, so we can only stay here. When I live my life, I sometimes think about it, maybe it's not as good as people like you who were cut off from your thoughts and left Hainan completely." Lao Xie smiled bitterly and said, "What we stay here are frogs boiled in warm water, boiling them every day." Zhang Chen thought about it and realized what Lao Xie said made sense. If he had not encountered such an emergency and continued to stay in Haikan, he might still be there now and would not have the thought of returning to the mainland. This company is not good. Just change a company. Based on my several years of experience in Haikan, it probably won't be difficult to find a new job. But just because it's not difficult, I might not leave here. Just like in the early days, the life of the troupe was a little easier, and there were still performances every year. Even if I followed Lao Yang, just moving around and playing on the floor every day, I would not have the idea of leaving the troupe. Zhang Chen thought to himself that he was really not a very active person. If he hadn't been forced to leave by the environment, he might not have made it to where he is today. Lao Xie sighed, "There is no hope for Hainan, it is almost dead." "Is it really so miserable?" Zhang Chen asked. "Have you ever seen it when you go out? This road is full of unfinished buildings and unfinished hotels. They are all left behind by the Poles from that time. The Hainan government, to put it bluntly, cannot even clean up unfinished buildings. They don't even have the ability, and cleaning up requires money. Sanya is a little better. This year, they started to gradually clean up and blow up unfinished buildings. Why do they have no money if they don't do it step by step? Haikan is even worse. So many unfinished buildings continue to rot. The original Panda Automobile Industrial Park has been ruined and has never been revived. Red Bull has left, and the Yangshengtang seems to have returned to Zhejiang. Zindazhu and Haima is half dead, and Hiao Sanjiawita lost the lawsuit to Shenzhen. Apart from one sea tank, there is not a single decent company in Hainan. Think about it, how can a province survive by relying on a can of coconut juice? Hainan itself has a poor foundation. The real estate sector has been hit again, and I still can't get over it. In Hangzhou, how much does a house cost per square meter now? It should cost 4,000 to 5,000, right? Lao Xie asked, and Zhang Chen said, "There are tens of thousands of them, but they are all speculated with sticks." "This guy," Lao Xie scolded, "his Jinghai International Financial Center is still there, but he just slapped his ass and left. By the way, do you know how much a house in Nankan and Jiuying costs now?" "Square." Zhang Chen thought for a moment, he said 2,000. 2,000? Ha ha, Lao Xie said with a smile, more than 400 or 500, 420 or 30,000 yuan, I can buy you a villa that has been built and is idle there. You can decorate it by yourself. With water and electricity, think about it, will this place still be good as it is? Mr. Xie, are you still running a KTV? Zhang Chen asked. Yes, it's just such a shabby place. I just make a living. I don't dare to invest. I can't get back my investment. However, the place where I live has not changed. The customers there have changed. Now every day, some bad guys come to play there. I don't even go up there myself, it's annoying to watch. Lao Xie talked all the way, and Zhang Chen listened all the time, feeling sad all the way. He recalled that when he first arrived in Haikan, he sat on the back seat of a motorcycle from Xiuying Port, past the International Trade Center, and looked at the high-rise buildings in the financial garden. He felt like heaven and felt that he had come to the right place. At that time, compared with Haikan, Hangcheng felt like the countryside. In the blink of an eye, the roles were reversed. Zhang Chen felt extremely sad. Okay, let's not talk about this anymore. Let's talk about you and the Pole, Lao Xie said. Zhang Chen told Lao Xie about his situation with Lu Ligan. Lao Xie kept nodding his head and said in admiration, not bad, not bad. The two of them chatted and unknowingly, an hour passed. Meng Ping and the others were almost there. Zhang Chen and Lao Xie paid the bill and walked out of the tea room and walked to the exit. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, they saw Meng Ping and Qian Fang, Li Yang, Su Jiaking, and Cao Ziahe came out with Yuan Yuan. Yuan Yuan was already a big girl. Among their group, only Ye Yulan went home for the spring festival and did not come with them. Except for Li Yang, everyone else knew Lao Xie. Meng Ping was surprised to see Lao Xie. After the two shook hands, Meng Ping looked at Lao Xie and asked, "Did you come from Haikan yesterday or today?" "I drove here this morning." "It's fast now." "It only takes 3 hours on the expressway," Lao Xie said. Meng Ping took 2 steps back, looked at Lao Xie and asked, "You drove for 3 hours and not a single hair fell down? You can still cut tofu in the seam of your trousers." "Lao Xie, how did you do it?" Everyone laughed. Zhang Chen said, "This has always been a mystery. From the time I met Mr. Xie until now, I still can't figure out how Mr. Xie's trousers can remain so sharp. I am still a clothing maker." Lao Xie chuckled, "Just be diligent. I iron all my clothes and pants myself. I don't worry if others have to iron them." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, next time you go to Hangzhou, I will definitely invite you to our factory to give lectures to Da Fang in our factory and pass on your valuable experience." Everyone laughed. A group of people stood at the exit chatting. 20 minutes passed quickly. Xiaoshu arrived with his parents. The plane at that time was really on time. Meng Ping, Qian Fang, Li Yang, and Su Jiaking took Lao Xie's car, while Cao Ziahe and Yuan Yuan took Zhang Chen's car. Zhang Chen asked Meng Ping, "Do you know about Jinling Resort?" I know, isn't it the same one we came here last time?" Meng Ping said. Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment, and then nodded. "It's okay. I come here often. Are you familiar with me? If not, just follow me," Lao Xie said to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen said yes. Cao Ziahe and Zhang Chen said, "Mr. Zhang, let me drive. You talk to your parents." Zhang Chen handed the car key to Cao Ziahe. On the way from the airport to Jinling Resort, Zhang Chen saw that, as Lao Xie said, both sides of the road were full of unfinished buildings, including residences and villas, and most of them were unfinished hotels. Zhang Chen saw a large piece of red cloth hanging on the main building of an unfinished hotel, with 4 large white characters written on it, "Modern Explosion." It seemed that this building was about to be demolished, and this red cloth, it is the blasting companies that are advertising themselves. For them, the business in Sanya and Hainan should be overwhelming. We were about to arrive at Daedonghai and Jinling Resort. Zhang Chen's heart twisted. He saw that the Bayview Hotel on the roadside not far ahead was in the same state of unfinished business. That said, that old Xia didn't build it either. The car drove past the Bayview Hotel. Zhang Chen stared at it, his heart full of sympathy. As a hotel, he felt that it was so unfortunate. It was unfinished once, then again, and would continue to be unfinished. Its life, will it finally end with modern blasting? Zhang Chen also thought of a question. If the hotel did not rise, where would Jin Lily, the deputy general manager of the hotel, go? Thank you for the reward for the 3rd fish from top to bottom and the 2 fish from top to bottom. Thank you Westwind for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1196. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao went downstairs and reached the lobby of the hotel. They couldn't help but laugh. They saw that all the people, regardless of gender, old and young, were wearing Blue Island uniforms with big flowers on their feet just like them. On top are flip-flops. Even Zhang Chen's parents and Xiao Zhao's parents were dressed in them. Lao Zhang and Xiao Zhao's father were obviously a little restrained in wearing these floral clothes, but they had no choice but to wear them. Qian Fang and Su Jiaking bought this at the hotel's travel supplies store and handed it out. They said they had to wear island clothes to reach Hainan Island and Sanya. Lin Shuwen had a big belly and couldn't fit into women's clothes. Qian Fang bought her large men's clothes. After wearing them, the sleeves and hem were very long and hung down, turning the clothes into nightgown. The front opening was too low, so she had to use a hotel room. The pins in the sewing kit pinned the top up. Even so, Lin Shuwen was still very happy to see it. Lao Zhang got the clothes and said to Qian Fang, No, I have never worn floral clothes in my life. Xiao Zhao's father didn't know what to do with the clothes Su Jiaking gave him. Hear what Lao Zhang said, he nodded quickly from the side. Qian Fang smiled and said, Uncle, have you never been to Hainan Island before, are you here now? Uncle, your life is still long, don't try too many things, you just want to go to everything now try. Qian Fang's words were so nice that Lao Zhang had no choice. Qian Fang continued, others don't have to wear them, but you 4 old people must wear them. Why? Zhang Chen's mother and Xiao Zhao's mother were also curious and came over. Zhang Chen's mother asked. It's rare for you to travel. When you travel, it should be different from what you do at home, Qian Fang said, you don't have to think about things at home anymore. When you get here, just eat and play, just let go. Forget about your old self, you will become new people, and new people wear new clothes, that's what's interesting. Zhang Chen's mother smiled and said, okay, that's very good. Wear it, let's wear it. Zhang's mother turned to look at Lao Zhang and said, go change it, wear a floral shirt, you will become a mother-in-law when you put it on, what a beautiful idea. As they were talking, they saw a group of people coming in from outside. 2 of them were men, older than them, also wearing island uniforms, walking calmly. They felt relieved and went upstairs to change. Qian Fang and Su Jiaking originally wanted everyone to wear island clothes and integrate into the island life. However, after everyone put on the island clothes, they immediately became outsiders and tourists. On the contrary, Xiao Zheng and the other locals, all wearing ordinary clothes. Dinner was at a food stall on the seaside not far from Jinling Resort. The food stall was large and very simple. It was a large open space on the seaside filled with cement. There were lamps installed in the open space and dozens of tables were placed. There is a plastic round table and chairs, and at the top of the open space, there is a simple shed made of striped woven cloth, which is the kitchen. Xiao Zheng and Lao Tan Zhongchen said that the conditions in this place are simple, but what they eat is definitely the freshest seafood, which may not be available elsewhere. All the seafood here is caught by the boss's own fishing boat. When they arrived, the sun had already fallen halfway into the sea level, and there was a golden light on the sea. The afterglow shining on the stall was already very soft, and it was no longer as hot as during the day. The waves of sea breeze brought the coolness of the sea water. There are many swimmers on the beach outside. Lao Zhang sighed and said that he had never thought that he could swim in the water during the Chinese New Year. When we arrived at the beach, being blown by the sea breeze, everyone felt that wearing this island uniform was really comfortable. Even Lao Zhang and Xiao Zhao's father, after their initial restraint, relaxed and felt indescribably comfortable. The food stall business is good, almost full, and many of them are locals speaking Hainan Esset. It seems that this place is quite famous in the local area. Among Lao Tan's former soldiers, there was a Xiao Ding. This Xiao Ding had a black mole on his right cheek. There was a long tuft of hair on the mole. This made Zhang Xiangbei and Chu Tianlin's son look at it. Hide to the side when he comes. After Xiao Ding transferred from the army, he stayed in the local area and is now the mayor of Tiandu town, where Dadonghai is located. The stall owner knew Mayor Xiao Ding, and when he saw them coming, he hurried over to greet them. Xiao Ding asked the boss if the arrangements had been made. If you, Mayor Ding, don't tell you what to do, I'll ask them to make a trip this afternoon, the boss said quickly. Xiao Ding turned to Lao Tan and said, I asked them to send some good things over. Lao Tan smiled and said, no need to go to such trouble. If I don't bother, this person will throw me into the sea. Xiao Ding pointed at Xiao Zheng, and both Lao Tan and Xiao Zheng laughed. Several other people said, we will not let you go either. The boss led them to 3 tables near the outermost seaside. Lao Tan and his comrades sat at one table, and the others sat at 2 separate tables. Old and young, all wearing blue island uniforms, gathered around the table. From a high altitude, it looks like 2 waves. The first dish that was served was a large plate of steamed hairtail. The boss came over and told Xiao Ding, do you understand such a big hairtail? You can only catch it a few times a year. Zhang Chen and the others saw that this hairtail fish was much wider than their palms. It was chopped into sections and plated in a stainless steel basin. One piece was a large basin. If it were spread out, it should be more than 2 meters long. Lao Zhang sighed. I have never seen such a big hairtail in my life. Qian Fang smiled and said, Uncle, let me tell you, there are many things you have never tried in your life, try them quickly. Lao Zhang nodded and said, yes, you are right. Everyone quickly tasted the hairtail. This South China Sea hairtail has thick meat but is very tender and slightly sweet. It has the taste of wild large yellow croaker in the East China Sea. What came next was a casserole with a whole fish in the casserole. The waiter told them that this was a famous stew of baby shark. The soup was very delicious and they were welcome to try it. Qian Fang smiled and said, Uncle, are you? That's right, I've known all my life that sharks can eat people, but I didn't expect that we would eat them today. Lao Zhang took Qian Fang's words and everyone laughed. Next came the boiled snails, prawns, giant squid, a 2-pound sashimi red dragon and a large plate of sashimi geoduck, then steamed grouper and stir-fried meat crab with ginger and scallion, etc., and they were all full at once. Most of the dishes here are steamed and sashimied, maintaining the original flavor of seafood. Lao Zhang has been talking about it for several times in his life. Zhang's mother scolded, you are speaking as if you have never lived a day in your life before today, you are so ignorant. Lao Zhang chuckled and pointed at the sea not far away. He said, it's almost the same. If you had stayed in the ravines of Yongcheng, you wouldn't know how big the sea was if you didn't see it. When Lao Zhang said this, Xiao Zhao's father felt the same. Meng Ping shouted, that's right, Uncle, what you said is very philosophical. You eat more of these fish and shrimps here and there, so that you can be worthy of these fish and shrimps. This is the truth, Lao Zhang said. Lao Tan's comrades, starting with Xiao Zheng and Xiao Ding, came over to toast one by one. Xiao Zheng and Zhang Chen said, "Thank you for finding your eldest brother in Jiangxi and taking care of him all the time." Zhang Chen quickly said, "I haven't had time to thank you and brother for sending us out of the island at that time, so I should respect you." When Xiao Zhao heard this, he also came over, raised his cup and said, "Thank you." "No need to say anything, everything is in the wine," Xiao Zheng said. Zhang Chen said, "Yes, our family does not speak two languages and drinks." Xiao Zhao said, "I welcome so many of my brothers to Hangzhou with their families." Everyone at that table also stood up and said, "Okay, we will definitely go. My eldest brother is in Hangzhou, and we have a home there." Everyone raised their glasses and drank the wine. After the people over there came to toast, Zhang Chen, Meng Ping, Lao Xie, Li Yang, Lao Tang and Er Huo came over to toast one by one. They all had good drinkers. After this meal, everyone felt that they were drunk. Very comfortable. After the old men and women finished eating, they stood up and took their children to play on the beach nearby. These men simply put the two tables together and continued to drink, 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 open to drink. The warm sea breeze blew over, bringing the breath of the sea not far away, and then carried their laughter and shouts away. Deep in the darkness, along with the endless sound of the waves, came the shouts of Qian Fang, Lin Shuwen and Xiao Zhao, as well as Xiao Fang, Xiaoshu, Yuan Yuan, Zhang Xiangbei, and Chu Tianlin. "Son," they were chasing each other on the beach and laughing loudly. "Seeing that the wine has reached the point where I can't drink anymore, I can't continue." Lao Tan and Xiao Zheng said, "Tomorrow on New Year's Eve, you go back to Haikan to have New Year's Eve dinner with your family. There are so many people here. We will have New Year's Eve dinner together in the hotel without you accompanying us." Although there is still no New Year's Eve this year, and tomorrow is New Year's Eve, everyone says they are used to it, and this year's 30 is synonymous with New Year's Eve. "Okay, then I'll come over the day after tomorrow," Xiao Zheng said. "Go and say New Year's greetings when it's time to say goodbye, and go away when it's time to leave. Come back when you have time. We're here to stay for several days." "Why are you in a hurry?" Lao Tan scolded. Xiao Zheng smiled and said, "Don't I want to stay with my eldest brother for a while?" "Brother, then we can ask for leave. Anyway, we will have New Year's Eve dinner at the base tomorrow, and it will be the same here," said the two people still serving at the base. Lao Tan smiled and said, "You can." Xiao Ding said, "Then I will come too." "You are at home. Come over after the New Year's Eve dinner. We will wait for you," Lao Tan said. "Okay, I'll listen to big brother," Xiao Ding said. Xiao Ding stood up and shouted, "We can't drink here anymore. Let's go and drink somewhere else. I've made arrangements." "What are you going to do?" Lao Tan asked. "Singing. How long have we not heard my eldest brother sing Camel Bell?" Xiao Ding said. Old Tan pointed to the beach in the darkness and said, "Let them all go, there are old people and children. Is your place clean?" Xiao Ding was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, "Okay, I'll ask them to clean it up right away. Also, when we get there, we open a private room. We sing all old songs, just in case they are not used to them. They sing theirs and we sing ours." Xiao Ding added. As he spoke, he opened the zipper of his briefcase, took out his mobile phone from inside, and walked to the side to make a call. "Here," Zhang Chen shouted into the darkness, and each person emerged from the darkness. Thanks to Lao Chantang, Wawa Zibing, and Riri Fanshu for the rewards. Thank you to Lao Chantang, Hua and Boy, and Yuangzi for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium era, south to north. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 1197. Early the next morning, in the restaurant on the first floor, Zhang Xiangbei begged the second-hand boss to take them to the warship. The second-hand boss originally wanted to take his wife and children to the base to meet his father in the army. Superiors, they took good care of him when he was in Sanya. Lao Tan went with them. He also wanted to see his old comrades and chiefs. They brought Zhang Xiangbei, Xiashu, and Chu Tianlin's sons, Xiaofang and Yuan Yuan, who had never seen warships or cannons, so they followed. They went together. After breakfast, Chu Tianlin, Xiaozhao, Qianfang, and others were going to go shopping in Sanya City. Old Tang was dragged by Lin Shuwen, Li Yang was dragged by Su Jiaking, and the two of them also accompanied them to carry their bags. The sun outside was not yet fierce, so Zhang Chen and Meng Ping Lao Xie strolled out and walked to the beach in front of Jinling Resort. Zhang Chen and Meng Ping were both wearing island uniforms. After wearing them all night yesterday, Lao Xie returned to his original outfit today. It seemed that he was still used to this kind of attire. But when walking on the beach wearing leather shoes, you have to be very careful not to let sand fall into your shoes. Standing on the beach in front of the hotel, you could see the Bayview Hotel on the left. Meng Ping built a lookout tent with his hands, looked over there, and asked Zhang Chen, "Why is this hotel still so unfinished?" After Lao Tan and the others withdrew it, they didn't continue it. Zhang Chen said, "How do I know?" "Who is that, Jin Lily?" Meng Ping asked. Zhang Chen still said, "How do I know?" Lao Xie said on the side, "There is nothing strange about this. There are unfinished buildings in the ends of the world. In Sanya, there must be 80 such hotels if not 100. But here, basically everything has been renovated. I remember that the front garden and swimming pool were not renovated. Before I left Hainan, I lived here for a few days and slept on the floor," Meng Ping said. "That's not surprising. As long as this last fire is not burned, there is still no chance. This thing is almost impossible," Lao Xie said. "However, even if it opened at that time, it can't hold on until now. Who knows, at that time, who would come to Sanya? There is not even a ghost in the East China Sea, just the Jinling Resort where we live. How hard it is to survive." "Meng Ping, the Pole sent you out of Haikan and sent you here?" Zhang Chen asked. Meng Ping was right, the idiots were here guarding the construction site at that time. Meng Ping suddenly became interested. He said, "Let's go and see and remember the place where I fought." The three people walked along the beach and walked over there. The entire Dadonghai beach is a public bathing beach, connected together. Like Yalong Bay, the beach is not allowed to be divided or surrounded. Every hotel on the beach has its own. The garden can only go as far as the end of the beach. They walked along the beach and arrived in front of the garden of the Bayview Hotel. The entire construction site was surrounded by brick walls on both sides. On the side near the beach, color steel plates were used to separate the hotel garden from the beach. Tropical plants grow fast, and tropical weeds also grow fast. They saw that the garden inside had long been deserted, and the weeds were taller than the color steel plate. They opened up a loose color steel plate and looked inside. From entering here, you can't find the road at all. You can walk to the hotel deep in the garden. They walked along a path beside the wall and walked inside. The main building of the hotel in the wall was getting closer and closer. At the end of this road, they arrived in front of the hotel, which leads to downtown Sanya. Of that road, on the opposite side of the highway, the land originally planned to build auxiliary buildings and staff dormitories has been reclaimed and planted with mango trees. They walked along the wall along the road to the iron gate of the hotel construction site. They saw that the iron gate was tightly closed, and a court notice was posted on the door. Even the writing on it had been blurred by the wind and rain. Unclear content. They looked inside and saw that every window in the hotel from the first floor to the third floor was welded tightly with steel bars and wire mesh to prevent anyone from climbing in. Meng Ping kicked the iron door with his foot. The iron door was kicked with a clang, but there was no movement inside. Meng Ping kicked it again, but there was still no movement. On the other side of the road, beside the mango tree, there was a wave of noise. The people in the thatched hut were kicked out. "Do you have the key to this place?" Lao Xie asked them, and the other party looked at them blankly, shook his head, and seemed to be surprised as to why we had the key here. Meng Ping looked at Zhang Chen and said, "Climb in." Zhang Chen said yes. Meng Ping turned around and asked Lao Xie, "How are you? Such a height?" "What a joke," Lao Xie said, "do you think I'm a vegetarian?" Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh when he thought about what Lao Xie told him, that when he was a carpenter, he liked to drag women around. However, his husband found her and chased her everywhere with a rake. This height is really nothing to him. The three people walked to the edge of the iron gate. They took a few steps to take advantage of the angle formed by the iron gate and the cement pillar on the side. They inserted their toes into the angle. They jumped up and reached the iron gate with their hands. On the upper edge of the iron door, I kicked it a few times and climbed up. I first rode on the iron door, then moved my feet hanging here, jumped down, and reached the ground. Meng Ping was first and Lao Xie was second. When Lao Xie climbed up, Zhang Chen saw that he was really agile. Zhang Chen was the third one to climb up. After jumping down, he said to Lao Xie, "Not bad, Mr. Xie, he is very fast." Lao Xie said, "When I was doing wholesale fabrics, I went to Qiqiao in Zhejiang province. On the big truck, the fabrics were piled up one by one, which was higher than this. When loading the truck, there was nothing I could do. I have to climb higher and higher, load the car, and pull the tarpaulin over it. I must not be careless at all. If the tarpaulin is not pulled properly, if it rains on the road, the fabric of the whole car will be ruined. When I arrived in Liuyang, I had to unload the truck. I had no choice but to unload it from the top. I climbed up all by myself." As Lao Xie spoke, Zhang Chen nodded frequently. Meng Ping looked at Lao Xie and said, "What I admire most is that you can still cut tofu in the seam of your pants after crawling through the door." Zhang Chen laughed loudly, and Lao Xie also laughed. The three of them walked towards the door of the hotel. Sure enough, the hotel's front door and the awning at the door have been decorated. However, it has been unmanaged for a long time, and Sanya also experiences typhoons every year. Many of the aluminum gussets on the car have fallen off. The glass door of the hotel was tightly closed and locked with a chain. There was a 5-centimeter board erected inside the door. Standing outside, you couldn't see the lobby inside. The closed glass door had the seal of the court crisscrossed on it. Next to the gate, there was also a notice from the court, signed by Sanya Intermediate People's Court. The handwriting of the notice was still very clear. Zhang Chen took a closer look. What puzzled him was that the unit being executed was not Lao Xia and Jin Lily's company. "What's going on?" The three people stood on the porch, looking out at the garden, which was full of desolation. Zhang Chen suddenly felt a little sad. The garden and swimming pool he designed were clearly displayed in front of him. Then, not only the garden, but also the hotel, the lobby, restaurant, and every room in it all appeared before his eyes one by one. Zhang Chen feels confident that his designs are still timeless even today. Zhang Chen's heart moved. He thought of Gu Shufang, her moist eyes when she looked at his design draft, and her soft voice, "If there is such a hotel, I will stay there." Zhang Chen thought of the third floor, the large field of red, white, and yellow peonies, the porcelain-like white, delicate, almost transparent skin, and that night. Back, yes, everything is back. Zhang Chen thought of Jin Lily, of the night he came to Jinling Resort, of going to the financial garden, of rushing downstairs in one breath, of the fireflies there. Zhang Chen sighed softly and woke up from his imagination. He saw that Mengping and Lao Xie had walked away from him at some point. They walked to the garden below and walked towards the dug place. But before I could continue, the huge swimming pool was now a pond. Mengping stood at the edge of the pond, turned around and shouted to Zhang Chen, "You can raise fish now." Lao Xie picked up a stick nearby and stirred it in the pond. He seemed to really want to stir up a fish from the water. Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh. The two people walked back. Mengping and Zhang Chen said, "It's a pity. Zhang Chen, you designed this hotel very well." At that time, I told myself that when the incident was over, I would stay here for a long time. The three people walked around the entire building. The few doors they saw were not only locked, but also had seals on them. The seals with the court seal with the red national emblem made them afraid, don't dare to enter by force. The three people still climbed out from the door and walked back. At this time, the sun was rising and the heat on the earth was steaming. As the three people walked, they were covered in sweat after a while. Along the way, Zhang Chen rarely spoke. Mengping and Lao Xie seemed to know why Zhang Chen rarely spoke. They no longer talked to Zhang Chen, but talked to each other. When the three people arrived at the hotel, their first thought was to go to the room and take a shower. They each returned to the room. After Zhang Chen took a shower, he changed into island clothes and walked out of the room. He wanted to sit in the lobby downstairs. He walked into the corridor and saw a window at the end of the corridor. Zhang Chen walked over. As expected by Zhang Chen, from looking out of this window, you can see the upper half of the Bayview Hotel. Zhang Chen took out a cigarette from his pocket, lit it, and looked over there while smoking. A waiter who was cleaning the room saw him, came over, and handed him an ashtray. Zhang Chen quickly said thank you. Zhang Chen put the ashtray on the windowsill, continued to smoke, and looked over there. I don't know how many cigarettes I smoked and how long I stood there until a voice came from behind me, "Dear, what are you doing standing here?" Zhang Chen turned around and saw Xiao Zhao coming back with several bags. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Nothing to do, just smoke. Are you back?" Xiao Zhao said, "Yeah, there is nothing to see. Sanya is very small and the urban area is shabby." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, the decent places in Sanya are all on the seaside. We will go to Yalong Bay tomorrow to have a look. It has just been developed and is said to be good." Zhang Chen walked over and took the bag from Xiao Zhao's hand. He looked at it and saw that it was all local specialties. The two of them walked back to the room. "Thank you for the reward for the third fish from top to bottom and the 2 fish from top to bottom. Thank you Baikan Scholar for your monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1198. At noon, neither Lao Tan nor Guo came back. They must have been left to eat by their comrades in the base. Zhang Chen and the others had Chinese food in the hotel restaurant. While eating, the restaurant supervisor came over and confirmed with Xiao Zhao and others the number of people and the menu for the New Year's Eve dinner. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said that if they arranged an extra table, the eldest brother's comrades would come over. Xiao Zhao said yes. At noon in Sanya, the sun was very strong and there was nowhere to go. Everyone went back to their rooms to take a nap. Zhang Chen, Mengping, Lao Xie, and Li Yang sat in the lobby below, smoking and chatting. At about 1 o'clock, Lao Tan and the others came back. As soon as Zhang Xiangbei saw Zhang Chen, he rushed towards him. Zhang Chen asked, "Have you been on the warship?" Yeah, we've been there. They even took us into the place where the warships are stationed," Zhang Xiangbei said excitedly. "Have you touched the cannon?" Zhang Chen asked. "I've touched it," Zhang Xiangbei said. "I've also held a cannonball. It's very heavy." "He almost fell to the ground," Chu Tianlin's son said, laughing. Zhang Xiangbei said, "You almost fell to the ground, and so did she. As he spoke, he pointed at Yuan Yuan, and then shouted, "Uncle is the only one holding it and it didn't almost fall to the ground." Xiaoshu smiled with a disdainful expression. Zhang Xiangbei's body was sticky, so Zhang Chen and Xiao Fang said, "Take him up to take a bath." "No, no, no," Zhang Xiangbei shouted and ran to Xiaoshu and said to him, "Give it to me quickly." Xiaoshu said, "Go up and take a bath. I will paint for you while you are taking a bath. When you finish washing, I will finish the painting." Zhang Chen asked, "What to draw?" "Warship," Xiaoshu said. Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh. He remembered that when he first went to Xiao Zhao's house, Xiao Shu asked him to draw a war scene for him. Unexpectedly, today, he turned around and wanted to draw a warship for Zhang Xiangbei. Xiao Fang led several children up, and they also went to take a bath. Only Lao Tan sat down on the edge. Zhang Chen handed him a cigarette and asked, "This hotel next door, after you vacated it, no one came in. Whoever dares to enter the scene will have no time to escape," Lao Tan said. "But I saw the court's announcement earlier that the company being executed is no longer Lao Xia's company," Zhang Chen said. "Then it must have been passed on to someone else. You don't know that Lao Xia can do this kind of thing. 10 other people's heads are not worth one of his. You don't know who he has deceived. Come and wipe his ass." "Do you know what happened to Lao Xia?" Zhang Chen asked. Lao Tan shook his head and said, "Didn't something happen to me not long ago?" "I don't know." Zhang Chen nodded. "Why are you asking these questions?" Lao Tan asked Zhang Chen. "Nothing, just curious." Zhang Chen pointed at Mengping and Lao Xia. "We crawled there to take a look in the morning, and it's still the same as when you left." Lao Tan was surprised and asked, "How do you know what it was like when we left? You were no longer in Hainan at that time." Zhang Chen pointed at Mengping and said, "This expert went there to take refuge. Your construction site had stopped at that time." "He knew it?" Lao Tan nodded and understood. Zhang Chen looked at Lao Tan, then at Mengping and the others, and asked, "What do you think about me buying this hotel?" The other people were startled, and Lao Xia shouted, "Why did you buy that shabby place? If you want to buy it, just buy a decent one. Jinling Resort is also looking for someone to take over. If you want to buy a hotel, you might as well call the owner here to talk." Mengping and Lao Tan were silent. They knew that Zhang Chen suddenly wanted to buy that hotel. It was not as simple as buying a hotel. He designed that place. Seeing the situation in such a predicament made them feel sad. On the one hand, more importantly, it turned out to be Lao Xia and Jin Lily's company. They couldn't sustain it. Now Zhang Chen came to buy it, maybe he wanted to breathe a sigh of relief. Lao Tan asked Zhang Chen, "After buying it, will you continue to die here?" "Renovate it," Zhang Chen said with a smile. "I think it would be good to build a hotel in Sanya. In the future, we will have a place for vacations and a place to bask in the sun when we get older." Lao Tan glared at him and cursed, "You are so young, but you still think about growing old." Zhang Chen smiled. Lao Xie said, "Mr. Zhang, if you want to run this hotel, I will recommend someone to help you manage it. The only one you have ever met is manager CAO. She, among others, is definitely reliable and can be your own for human use." Zhang Chen said yes. Of course he remembered Mr. Xie's manager CAO, who was a flower drum opera singer. They had met several times. Zhang Chen's impression of her had always been very good. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Are you willing to recommend manager CAO to me? No matter what, I don't want to give up, I have to be responsible for others. Didn't I tell you that the nightclub I go to every day is full of bad guys, so it won't last long for a woman to deal with these bad guys every day. Plan, but I don't have other properties to manage the hotel, and she can still win." Mr. Xie said. Zhang Chen nodded. Meng Ping disapproved of Zhang Chen coming to Sanya to set up some kind of hotel. Hainan scared him once, and now he wants to jump in? Just to fight for a breath? The cost is too high, no matter what Meng Ping thinks, it is not worthwhile. But on the other hand, Meng Ping felt that he was not Zhang Chen. He had not been stimulated by him, so it was difficult for him to feel like him. Meng Ping felt that he understood Zhang Chen's behavior. He thought that if he were Zhang Chen, he would also I will fight for this tone. Meng Ping and Zhang Chen said, it's better to find out about the situation of this hotel first. Lao Tan picked up the phone and said, I ask Xiao Ding to come over. Even if he doesn't know, he should find someone who knows. Zhang Chen said yes. Lao Tan called Xiao Ding, and Xiao Ding said he would come right away. Zhang Chen and the others moved to the coffee bar. 20 minutes later, Xiao Ding arrived in his car. Everyone sat down, and Lao Tan asked him straight to the point, do you know about the Bayview Hotel? I know, it's over here, not here, Xiao Ding said. Isn't this your construction site, big brother? Which company owns this hotel now? Lao Tan asked. Xiao Ding said, I can't figure out which company it is. Anyway, it has changed several bosses. However, there is no need to figure it out. The bosses of these unfinished buildings in Hainan have all fled back to the mainland and owe a lot of debt to the banks. Gulf Coast Lijing seems to owe Haifa some money. Do you know its earliest boss, the Bata company in Haikan, brother Ding? Zhang Chen asked. Bata, I know, Lao Xia, right? Brother, when you were here, didn't we have dinner with Lao Xia several times? But this hotel was not Lao Xia's at first, but Chen Ming's. I didn't know it later. Why, it's in Lao Xia's hands, Xiao Ding said. After I left, did Lao Xia transfer this place to someone else? Lao Tan asked. Lao Xia didn't transfer. He couldn't transfer even if he wanted to, Xiao Ding said. Why? Lao Tan asked. Something happened to Lao Xia, so he went in, Xiao Ding said. I heard that someone from Beijing, the major shareholder of their company, was trying to get him. Lao Tan and Zhang Chen were both surprised. Zhang Chen asked, what about his company? The company was dissolved. Someone from the major shareholder came and took care of the hotel, and the company was dissolved, Xiao Ding said. Lao Tan knew what Zhang Chen wanted to ask, but was embarrassed to ask. Lao Tan asked Xiao Ding, what about the people in Lao Xia's company? If Lao Xia goes in, will other people in the company be implicated? There are a lot of people in his company, just Lao Xia and his mistress. Brother, we are not Miss Jin who we had dinner with. Lao Xia's company is just the two of them. Old Tan winked at Xiao Ding anxiously. Xiao Ding didn't understand. Old Tan glanced at Zhang Chen again. Zhang Chen didn't seem to be moved. Old Tan simply made his words clear. He asked Xiao Ding. Yes, this is Miss Jin. Has anything happened to her? No, only Lao Xia went in alone. Then do you know where Miss Jin is now? Xiao Ding laughed, she is Lao Xia's mistress, not mine. Brother, why would I care where someone else's mistress is? However, I seem to have heard someone say that before Lao Xia's accident, they were doing something about it. Procedures for leaving the country. When something happened to Lao Xia, she took her money and fled abroad. They were a romantic couple. At this time, who would care about whom? When Lao Tan was about to curse, Zhang Chen patted his arm. Zhang Chen said, Brother Ding, if we want to buy this hotel, who should we contact? Talking to the court and the overseas publishers is that no one wants this kind of unfinished building at auction. If you want it, just call them over and negotiate the deal. If someone buys it, the overseas publishers will laugh their teeth out. You guys, you know, how big of a trap is it just in our Sanya? 73 projects died here. When we first gave out loans, we all put them in with our eyes closed. No, We didn't close our eyes, we opened our eyes to see how much money was put into our own pockets, and then we put them out. They are all bad debts, and we have already arrested several of them. Xiao Ding asked Zhang Chen, Mr. Zhang, do you really want it? Zhang Chen nodded. Then let me ask you about the intermediate court. Xiao Ding said, unzipped his briefcase, took out his mobile phone from inside, found a number in the address book, and dialed it. Xiao Ding and Zhang Chen said it was the president of the executive court of the Intermediate People's Court. The phone was connected. Xiao Ding told the other party about the matter, then nodded his head in a and finally said, okay, brother, I will make a decision here, and you can make an appointment for me. Putting down the phone, Xiao Ding told them that this hotel and the Zhongyuan had been auctioned 3 times, all of which were rejected. Once the auction was rejected, the price was reduced by 20%. If it were to be auctioned again now, it should be around 14 million. However, he came to the bottom of it and said that if it was handled through direct negotiation, the other party would be able to accept 10 million. Zhang Chen and Meng Ping discussed it, and they both felt that the price was okay. If the price could be obtained and renovated, the investment would not be very large. Including the land opposite, Meng Ping asked. Of course, Xiao Ding said, he is a whole. Meng Ping nodded and said, that's a good deal. Zhang Chen and Xiao Ding said, Brother Ding, please help me make an appointment. Do you really want it? Xiao Ding asked. Zhang Chen is right. Then you may have to wait a few more days. It's the Chinese New Year and we're all on holiday. Who will come to discuss official matters? Xiao Ding said, and Zhang Chen made sense after thinking about it. Leave this matter to me, Mr. Zhang. If you don't want 10 million, who will give him 10 million? Xiao Ding and Zhang Chen said, when I go to work on the 8th day of the lunar month, I will hum him first, and then let my brother make an appointment to talk. Zhang Chen said yes, thank you. Thank you to the fish-eating guy for the red envelope. Thank you to Fantasyland in the Wind and U1293272277 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the testimonials and great reading. Have a good night everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1199. Xiao Ding, Lao Tan, and Zhang Chen said that now is a good time to buy these unfinished buildings in Sanya. Lao Tan asked why. On October 18 last year, the municipal government issued a document titled Decision on the Demolition and Renovation of Construction Projects that Harm the City Appearance, announcing the first batch of 68 suspended construction projects, that is, unfinished buildings. The property owner is required to register with the Municipal Planning Bureau within 15 days and submit a renovation and renewal plan, otherwise, it will be demolished at the end of November. This, the common people call it the build or bomb ultimatum. In this regard, the city government has made up its mind. Although our city's annual fiscal revenue is only 300 million yuan, it still decided to take it. A large part of the financial resources will be used to carry out environmental construction and renovation of unfinished buildings in Sanya. You've seen what Sanya is like now. It's in tatters and doesn't look like a tourist city. As Xiao Ding said, Lao Tan, Zhang Chen and Meng Ping all became interested. Meng Ping asked, how are these 68 projects going now? The plans have been submitted, but they are all a delaying measure. Think about it, what kind of project has been there for several years without being touched, and now you are so capable that you can find the money to continue the construction in 15 days. Everyone knows it well. It's just a matter of submitting a plan first and then waiting to see if the gust of wind can pass. Xiao Ding said. Everyone nodded. Xiao Ding continued. But this matter can't be passed. As I said, the city government has made up its mind this time. After the new year, a project will be blasted immediately. By the way, did you see it on the way from the airport? Zhang Chen said yes, I saw it. Killing a chicken to scare a monkey. Now these property rights units are panicking. Knowing that they can't escape this time, they are looking for partners or to sell the project at a low price. Otherwise, when there is a boom, nothing will happen. No more. Xiaoding smiled. Is this Bayview Hotel one of those 68 projects? Lao Tan asked. Not here, but after I get to work, I'll hum them first, Xiaoding said. How? Lao Tan asked. The town sent them a message urging them to resume work as soon as possible. If they don't resume work, the town will report it to the city's second batch of rectification lists. Think about it, Haifa doesn't know how to run a hotel. At this time, you can't talk to them and see if they want to get rid of it as soon as possible. Lao Tan, Zhang Chen, and Meng Ping all understood what Xiaoding meant when he said he was a dick to them. This was to force the other party up the mountain first, and then let Zhang Chen give them a step down. Lao Tan said yes, then do it. Zhang Chen asked Xiaoding, Brother Ding, that place has been sealed by the court. I wonder if we can find the key. If we can find it, we want to go in and have a look. This brother of mine lives in Baisha, not Sanya. He went home today. Wait, I'll make a call. Xiaoding said, and then dialed the number of the president of the execution court of the Intermediate People's Court. The president was also embarrassed on the phone. He said that no one had been to that ghost place for a long time, and he didn't know who had the key to that place. I'll call and ask. Xiaoding said that they are celebrating the New Year at home. If you ask any questions, I will kick it in, change the lock, and give you the key when I go to work. The other party said okay, that's it. After putting down the phone, Xiaoding and Zhang Chen said that very few people in the court lived in Sanya. If they found someone, they would have to go back to Sanya to get them, which was too troublesome. Zhang Chen and the others nodded. Mr. Zhang, when do you want to go see it? Xiaoding asked. Let's go now, Lao Tan said. Okay, let me go find something, Xiaoding said, and walked to the front desk and said to the waiter, call the people from the engineering department and the manager on duty today. Zhang Chen and Lao Tan said, brother, should I go up and talk to Xiao Zhao? You haven't told her about this yet, Lao Tan asked. Zhang Chen said no. Lao Tan tapped Zhang Chen with his finger, shook his head and told him to go quickly. The duty staff and duty manager from the hotel engineering department all arrived at the front desk. When the duty manager saw Xiaoding, he quickly came over to shake hands and asked Mayor Ding what his orders were. Xiaoding told the engineering department staff, go and bring me the big pliers for cutting steel bars, and then go and get 2 locks, the kind of big chain locks. The engineering department staff said that they have cutting pliers, but I don't have spare ones for this lock. Are you Ding? Don't you know how to bring the lock you are using now for me to use first? Xiaoding scolded, and the manager on duty said to go find it for Mayor Ding quickly. Xiaoding pointed to the bar and told the engineering department staff to send it to me there. After he finished speaking, he waved to the manager, went back to the bar, sat down and continued chatting with Lao Tan. Zhang Chen went upstairs, returned to his room, walked in, but didn't see Xiao Zhao. Then he walked to Xiao Fang and Qian Fang's room across the street, knocked on the door and went in. He saw Xiao Zhao and Qian Fang, as well as Xiao Fang and Xiao Shu. Zhang Xiangbei are all here. Zhang Chen told Xiao Zhao that he was going to buy a hotel. Xiao Zhao was shocked and shouted, buy a hotel? My dear, why do you suddenly think of buying a hotel? Why are we buying a hotel? Sanya is so far away. Mr. Zhang, where is the hotel in Sanya? Qian Fang asked. Just over here, come and see. Zhang Chen said and walked out. Qian Fang, Xiao Zhao and the others followed. When they reached the end of the corridor, Zhang Chen pointed to the Bayview Hotel outside the window and showed them. Unfinished? Qian Fang asked. Zhang Chen said yes, but now in Sanya, buying unfinished buildings is an opportunity. He then told them what Xiao Ding told him before. Only then did Xiao Zhao understand that when he came back, Zhang Chen was standing here, not looking at anything, but looking at the dilapidated building. Xiao Zhao saw the ashtray on the window sill, which was still there. There were more than a dozen cigarette butts in it. It seemed that Zhang Chen had been standing here for a long time. "Dear, why do we buy this hotel?" Xiao Zhao asked. "I designed this place," Zhang Chen said. Xiao Zhao understood. She knew in her heart that she probably had to buy it again. Xiao Zhao remained silent and stopped talking. Qian Fang asked, "How much will the entire investment cost?" "Buying a house costs about 10 million. The inside was originally decorated by Brother Tan and the others. There is no need to touch the big pipes. Some places may be renovated. The biggest investment is the renovation of the exterior walls and the renovation of the garden. In addition, it will cost more than 10 million to purchase equipment," Zhang Chen said. "You can come down within 30 million, are you sure?" Qian Fang asked. "Okay," Zhang Chen said. Qian Fang nodded, and she said to Xiao Zhao, "The investment is not big." Xiao Zhao listened and relaxed a little. She nodded, which meant she agreed. "We're going to have a look now, are you coming?" Zhang Chen asked. "Of course I want to go," Qian Fang said. Xiao Zhao and Xiao Fang were also going. Xiao Shu also wanted to go, but Zhang Xiangbei said, "What's so good about that shabby house? Uncle, we should go back and continue painting warships." Xiaoshu agreed and took Zhang Xiangbei back to their room. The four people walked downstairs. Xiao Ding and the others were given scissors and locks. Everyone got up and went out. It was only a short walk from the beach in front, but the sun was too strong now, and they would be covered in stinky sweat before they reached there. They decided to drive there, even though it would take a long circle to drive. A group of people drove a van and arrived at the iron gate in front of the construction site. Xiao Ding took out the scissors and cut off the lock on the door. Everyone went in and arrived at the glass door of the hotel. Xiao Ding removed the seal of the court with a wave of his hand. He tore it off, then used scissors to cut off the padlock on the chain, opened the glass door, stretched out his foot and kicked it, and the 5-centimeter board in the door fell down with a bang. Xiao Zhao and Qian Fang Lao Xie took a breath. They saw the hotel lobby inside and thought it was so beautiful. Xiao Zhao also became excited. At this time, she not only felt that the investment was not big, but "I feel like I already like it here." From this place, she could tell the familiar smell of Zhang Chen at a glance, which made her feel more intimate. Meng Ping and Lao Tan were familiar with this place, so they were not surprised. But for Zhang Chen, all this remained in his mind, and he felt that this was how it should be. Everyone entered the hotel lobby. Lao Tan took a flashlight and hurriedly checked the water pipes and air conditioning pipes. After checking, he told Zhang Chen that there was no problem and no need to replace them. Zhang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. As long as these do not need to be replaced, there is no need to make major changes here. Small repairs are just superficial and simple. They walked upstairs and downstairs, and Lao Tan remembered it and said, "Follow me." He took them to the second floor, walked to the door of a private room, and opened the door. As he expected, it turned out to be a temporary office at his construction site. The entire set of renderings designed by Zhang Chen were still hanging on the wall. After looking at it, Qian Fang asked Zhang Chen, "Mr. Zhang, are you designing these?" "Zhang Chen is right." Qian Fang sighed, "It's amazing. This hotel is even more beautiful than the Jinling resort we are staying in now." Lao Tan smiled and said, "Here, the property is finally returned to its original owner. Xiao Ding, I will leave this matter to you." "No problem, brother," Xiao Ding said. They came to the first floor below, re-erected the 5-centimeter boards at the door, closed the glass door, and Xiao Ding locked the new lock. Everyone walked out of the iron door outside. Xiao Ding locked a new lock, then handed both sets of keys to Zhang Chen and said to him, "I'll keep this with you for now. If you want to see it in the next few days, you can come over and see it anytime." Zhang Chen said thank you. The temperature outside was very high, so everyone quickly got in the car. Xiao Ding didn't get on. He looked at the mango forest opposite, walked over, walked to the shed, and shouted. The people inside came out. Xiao Ding spoke in Hainan dialect. He yelled something at them and made a half circle with his hand towards the mango forest. Those people nodded and bowed and talked to him, some even bowed. Xiao Ding glared at them, cursed a few words, and then walked back. Xiao Ding got in the car, and old Tan said angrily, "What are you doing?" Xiao Ding said to him, "Brother, you don't know, people nowadays are not easy to deal with. If I smile, they will take advantage of them. Don't let them free up this place again. I will scare them and talk to them," he said. "If you don't move it, I will use a bulldozer to push it away, and they will be scared. Alas, when the time comes, Mr. Zhang, just give them some money if you can. Farming is not easy." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, I will arrange it when the time comes." Xiao Ding looked at Lao Tan and said to him, "Brother, you don't know that things in this place are not as good as the army, even the city government. If it hadn't said demolish or blow up, several companies would give him a hard time." Lao Tan's expression improved a little, and he cursed, "Do you think I haven't been working in the local area these years? Thank you to Dal Tin Soldier and RIRI Shushu for the reward. Thank you for your monthly votes from Qianbo, Feng Polang 26, the great blade of the country, Tianying 1978, Qian Dad, and book friends 0805201701177734. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1200. Old Lu was still pouring himself a drink. Lu Ligan's mother had already walked away and went to sit on the sofa in the living room to watch TV. Lu Ligan also walked away. He walked outside the door and got into the car, but don't know where to go. It's another year, and the New Year's Eve dinner belongs to Lu Ligan and his mother. It's over, but it's still early for old Lu. Old Lu will sit at the table alone for at least an hour. He sat there, first talking to himself, and then cursing. Fortunately, he didn't even know who he was scolding, so neither Lu Ligan nor his mother would mind, just treat him as an opera. Once, Lu Ligan became interested and was curious about what he was scolding. After listening carefully for more than 10 minutes, good guy, he realized that he was actually scolding his playmate from his hometown in Subay when he was a child. It was also something that happened when he was a child. Lu Ligan laughed. When old Liu's cursing progressed to the point where his tongue curled up and he turned into a goldfish, spitting out bubbles, Lu Ligan's mother knew that it was almost time and that he was about to fall asleep in the wicker chair, so she stood up, picked up the blanket on the sofa and walked over. As expected, Lao Lu was already snoring. She put the blanket over his lap and moved the wine glasses and dishes on the table in front of him so that he wouldn't smash them with his hands in his sleep. One thing about old Lu can be reassuring, that is, no matter how much he drinks or how deeply he sleeps, his crooked body will not slide down from the wicker chair to the floor. Liu's mother can rest assured to go back to watch TV. Waiting for the Spring Festival Gala to come. When she heard old Lu yelling again, she knew that he had woken up and had sobered up a little. Liu's mother stood up, grabbed 2 plates of food on the table, went to the kitchen to warm them up, and put them back. Lao Liu's voice subsided, and he started drinking again happily. For him, the world outside wine does not exist. Lu Ligan started the car, but he didn't know where he was going. Tan Shahen returned to Yongcheng, Zhang Chen and the others went to Hainan, Su Wenhui returned to his hometown for the new year, and Rong Rong and Chen Yakan, who were re-elected, also settled their internal and external orders early this year. During the New Year holiday in empty warehouse, they all went home. Lu Ligan drove his car on the empty street. Originally, today, all the outsiders in Hangzhou had gone home, and the whole city was already half empty. At the time of the New Year's Eve dinner, people on the street there are even fewer cars. Lu Ligan was wandering aimlessly on the street. He didn't know why he turned to Huancheng West Road. He remembered that there was Wanghu Hotel in front of him. Lu Ligan drove to the entrance of Wanghu Hotel and stopped the car. Got out of the car and looked around, but didn't see that familiar figure. Lu Ligan sighed. When talking about big, this city is really humming big. After so many years, even he, who likes to be active on the streets, has never met her again. Lu Ligan's cell phone rang, and he picked it up. It was Zhang Chen, and there were many people behind him. Many voices came over and called his name. They were about to start having New Year's Eve dinner. There was a lot of noise on the phone. You can feel the hot weather there, unlike Hangzhou, where the wind blows on your face and you have to cut your flesh. When people are in a hot environment, just like a dog sticking out its tongue to dissipate heat, people will naturally cross their arms and legs and fully open themselves up. When they reach a cold place, they will naturally curl up and hiss. When the cell phone rang, Lu Ligan had already gotten back into the car. After talking on the phone, he threw the cell phone on the passenger seat, feeling even more confused. He looked around, but still didn't see Alien or her colleagues. Lu Ligan started the car and drove to Dixie Road, preparing to go to the company. He didn't know where else he could go. This person who usually keeps going from here to there every day, very busy, now has nowhere to go and no one to look for. Even Fan Jiangguo has already brought a girlfriend. At this time, he must be with his girlfriend. It is really meaningless to play with someone who has a girlfriend. Lu Ligan drove to the entrance of Kiyoshi Academy and was about to turn in. His cell phone rang. When he picked up, it was Lao Ni. Lu Ligan was surprised and asked, "Old man, why did you think of calling me at this time?" Lao Ni asked, "Where are you?" Hangcheng. Lu Ligan said. "Busy or not?" "I'm busy. I'm putting on makeup and getting ready to go on TV and deliver New Year's greetings to the people across the country." Lao Ni smiled and said, "Come on, let's play mahjong." "I'm short of 3. Lu Ligan scolded, "No way, Lao Ni, on this day when people all over the country are celebrating the Spring Festival, you want me to drive thousands of miles from Hangzhou to Qiqiao to play mahjong with you? Don't be poor, I'm also in Hangzhou, here with Fifa." Lao Ni said. "You ran away from home," Lu Ligan said. "Okay, I'll be there soon." Lu Ligan drove to the open area in front, turned around, and drove towards Kai. Fifa and Menjao, their houses, and Lao Ni all bought them from Lu Ligan. The two houses were facing each other. Lu Ligan scolded Lao Ni, "In this way, will you be able to go back and forth in 2 halves in one night, and run around with your butt naked?" Lu Lepol drove on the road, still wondering in his heart, don't these two diehards need to go home? Is this old man really so desperate that he won't even go back to have a humming New Year's Eve dinner with his rotten wife? Lu Ligan got out of the elevator. He didn't know which one was Fifa's and which one was Menjao's. He picked one at random and rang the doorbell. There was no movement inside the door, but the door opposite opened. Lao Ni shouted, "This way, this one side." Lu Ligan walked in. Fifa and Menjao were sitting on the sofa watching TV. When they saw Lu Ligan coming in, they both stood up. Lu Ligan shouted, "I'll go." Lao Ni, "Use the 2 guns." He saw Fifa and Menjao standing there, both of them holding out their bellies and smiling at him. Lu Ligan walked to the side and pushed open the bedroom door. Lao Ni said, "What are you doing?" Lu Ligan said, I must see if you have a triple bed or a double bed. Phi Fei and Menjao laughed, and Lao Ni also smiled proudly. He said, let's go and play mahjong. The four people walked to the mahjong table and sat down. The mahjong game started. Lu Ligan grabbed the cards and asked Phi Fei how many months it had been. 4.5, Phi Fei said. What about you? Lu Ligan turned around and asked Menjao again, and Menjao said the same thing. Lu Lizan looked at them and shook his head, sighing, twins, this is the first time I have seen twins coming out of two bellies. Phi Fei and Menjao laughed again. Menjao reached out to hit Lu Lapole and scolded, stop telling jokes, my stomach hurts from laughing. Phi Fei also scolded, you are responsible for the miscarriage of laughter. Okay, I will be responsible for sewing, Lu Ligan said, then turned to Lao Ni and asked, Lao Ni, do you have any objection if I cut off the beard? Lao Ni touched the mahjong tiles with his left hand, took a puff of cigarette with his right hand, and said slowly, you are not cutting off the hu, you are fishing for the moon from the bottom of the sea. Rogue, Phi Fei and Menjao yelled together, not sure whether they were scolding Lao Ni or Lu Ligan. Looking at Phi Fei and Menjao, Lu Ligan knew why Lao Ni was still in Hangzhou today. These two people, with their big bellies, must have homes and dare not go back. If they go back, they will not be scolded by their parents and will be controlled by the neighborhood committee. Planned Parenthood caught. Lu Ligan hadn't heard Gi Hua talk about this, saying that there were 2 black pregnant women in this community, otherwise the streets would come to their door immediately. There was only one answer, and that was that these 2 people must have been hiding at home, even in the garden below. Never been there. On days like this, the servants who usually take care of them should have gone home to celebrate the new year. If this old father Ni doesn't come to take care of them personally, who else will? So Lao Ni had no choice but to make up a reason with his family and continue to stay in Hangzhou. Lu Ligan thought of something and asked Lao Ni, what should you do when you are about to give birth? If you are caught, you will be punished until you lose everything. What about it? Do you want to be a superborn gorilla and go to Hainan Island? I will help. You arrange. Lao Ni said, if we don't go to Hainan, I will take them to Hong Kong in 2 months. That's right, you have your own plane anyway, Lu Ligan said. Speaking of airplanes, Lu Ligan remembered it and said, old Ni, will you show off your private jet to me in the past 2 days? Where to go? Lao Ni asked. Sanya, Zhang Chen and Lao Meng are all there. They are going there to celebrate the new year this year. Lao Ni was surprised and asked, then why didn't you go together? I want to have New Year's Eve dinner with the old man and old lady at home, Lu Ligan said. Lao Ni looked at him and smiled. Lu Ligan asked, why are you laughing so treacherously? Lao Ni said, is it because your sweetheart didn't go? What a good relationship, don't talk nonsense, Lu Ligan scolded, it's a colleague. Okay, no matter what you said, did she not go? If you tell the truth, I will let them fly, Lao Ni said. Lu Ligan smiled and said, that's right, let's be frank, she went back to Yongcheng for the Spring Festival. That's right, Lao Ni nodded, when are you going to go? 3rd year of junior high school. Okay, Lao Ni said, do you want to pick you up when I get back? You don't need it when you come back. There are so many people that your small plane can't even fit in, Lu Ligan said with a smile, it's enough to show off once. Are you going to show off with your sweetheart? Lao Ni smiled. What a fool, Phi Fei shouted. Fire the gun, Phi Fei pointed at Lu Li and shook the pole wildly. Lu Ligan looked at the 30,000 he had just dealt, and he was puzzled as to how he could play this card. When this card came out, he played the card that he had already listened to a long time ago. Lu Ligan looked at Phi Fei and Menjao, then at Lao Ni, and cursed, you 3 of you are not going to join forces to kill my pig, are you? Yes, otherwise I would have asked you to come. Lao and I laughed. Stop talking nonsense, hurry up, give me money, FIFA, I urged. Thank you book friend 1612051930467444 for the tip. Thank you to Mo Shui Lan and Humor Tribe for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone.